Meantime, we all know that having friends is good for us, but did you know that they could provide more effective pain relief than morphine? According to a study from Oxford University, people who have a large circle of friends have a higher tolerance for pain. Joining us now is Katerina Johnson, who's a doctoral student from the University of Oxford. Thanks for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. How so? What is the science behind this?
Yes, so we were really interested in whether, why humans have different social network sizes, and in particular whether this may relate to the activity of a chemical in the brain called endorphin. So endorphins are part of both our pain and our pleasure system. They're our body's natural painkillers, and in fact, dose for dose, they're more potent than morphine, but they're also responsible for giving us those positive feelings we get, when we interact socially.
Yeah, but endorphins, don't you release those when you go to the gym or you exercise? So, you could actually be a lonesome exerciser and get the same benefit. Is that the case?
Yeah, so many people may have heard of endorphins in relation to, when you exercise, it can help give you that, high feeling afterwards. So this may also be the case in our study, because an interesting thing that we found was actually individuals that were fitter tended to have smaller social networks. And so we hypothesized that perhaps this may be because both socializing and, when we exercise, they both trigger the endorphin system. So maybe people use either socializing or sort of exercising sort of as alternative means to get this feel-good factor. But of course, it may just be because, if you spend all your time in the gym, you're going to have, less time to spend with your friends.
What about, Katerina, if you don't exercise much and you don't have many friends, you're in a lot of trouble, aren't you?
Well, yes, I guess so. Well, it's a bit of a tricky question, but, we know that exercise is important for us, for our physical health, and it can help relieve stress. But this study sort of emphasizes, perhaps we should consider social health, as well as our physical and our mental health. This, may even really be important for our health and well-being generally. And in fact, studies suggest that people who are better integrated into society may even, live longer.
And do you exercise a lot, and do you have lots of friends?
Well, I do. I am a keen athlete when I'm not studying, which takes up the most of my time. I'm not one of those people on Facebook who has 1,000 friends, but yeah, I'd like to say I have a good group of friends and family that are there to support you, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. But our study does perhaps suggest that maybe if we sort of try to enhance our social health and our feelings of connectedness to others, perhaps this might prime us better to deal with physical pain. But of course, a lot more sort of research is needed. But it's interesting because also, for example, a study looking at chronic pain patients does show that if they increase their social support and social interaction, this can actually help reduce the pain that they feel.
Just let me check. Does gin release any endorphins?
Does gin?
Yeah.
Yes. So alcohol is one of the substances that can release endorphins in the brain. So this is probably why people feel a bit more sort of relaxed and comfortable with socializing. We had to bear this in mind when we invited participants in, because that was one of our exclusion criteria, that they couldn't have basically drunk lots of alcohol the night before. Not that students do that.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But yes, we're not saying to drink alcohol, but obviously socialising with your friends is another sort of way. You can get this feeling of high, and
Brilliant.
It's also important and relevant to perhaps psychological disorders like depression.
Brilliant. And perhaps being on the telly as well gives you a little bit of a high. It's good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.